Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of City Skylines. Today we are continuing our beginner's guide and we will be going over early game strategies and how to avoid certain pitfalls in this game. But first we need to talk about how this game works. There is a delicate balance between all buildings within the game. Commercial requires deliveries, industrial supplies those deliveries. Both have the ability to import while industrial can export. Residents require places to work, shop, and relax, be it parks, unique buildings, concerts, etc. All of this movement requires roads and paths. If you have an extensive path network, your Sims will choose to walk more and more. This also goes for bike lanes and bike paths, though we don't have those yet. Every time a person or car enters the city or leaves a building, it has a predetermined path based off of a combination of shortest distance and time it takes to travel. Because of this, you need to be careful about over-zoning commercial and industrial. I will show you my strategies on how I scale my city while maintaining those balances. But first, we are introducing two DLCs, Industries and the Art Deco Content Creator Pack. I've decided it would be better for the series and the city to introduce DLC in order of use, so you can see how each DLC can be utilized in your city in a natural way rather than forcing them. So let's get started. The first thing I want to look at is our road layout, and I'd actually gotten quite a few comments on this. So one of the things to keep in mind with this couplet is that it is a highway-like road. So you want to treat it like you would a highway. You want to have road crossings, you want to keep no zoning, you want to connect collectors to it. So what we're going to do is go ahead and jump out of this view, and the first thing we need to do is upgrade some of our roads, and this is going to be super important. I want to create a freeway entrance right here, but I also want to come up with a pattern here because this is how you can keep your cities looking good. So I think what we're going to do is choose this road as our first one. So we'll go into the upgrade tool and we're going to come all the way down here and upgrade this road all the way down. And the reason we're doing this is because it's going to provide access to that couplet and also to the freeway up top once we connect it. The main purpose of these collectors is to get people off of the arterial and spread them throughout the city in a timely manner. And so now let's go ahead and jump over two more, and we're going to upgrade this one as well. It does look like we have a service building on this one, so what we need to do is jump out of roads and go ahead and move this over just a bit. Even though that's not an incredibly realistic move, it is something that we need to do to upgrade the road. I think in real life what they do is on roads that are designated to be upgraded in the future, they'll actually leave a space on either side so that it can be upgraded. And so now what we want to do is jump over two again and do the same thing here. And the reason we're doing this is because we are creating a pattern within our city. This is really going to help us to establish that pattern as we extend out. Another thing I want to do is jump into a 2-unit road, and we're going to go ahead and go to these one with trees. So the roads with trees do have an effect on land value, and so it is a way for you to not only help your city run a little bit better, but also make your neighborhoods look a little bit better. And so you'll come through and you can kind of see all these smiling faces. It's because of the effect that it has on the land value. And so we're going to go ahead and change the whole commercial strip right here to this road. And so now what I want to do is go ahead and change this outer road. And I initially had plans to change it into a 4-unit collector, but because of all the buildings we put on it, it's just not going to be the easiest of transitions. We may do it in the future. As you're going around, if you have any bus stops or anything, you'll kind of see these pop up. What it is the bus trying to re-find its path. Most times you're not going to have an issue with this, like you see they disappeared. It's because this road actually has little bus stops that will appear once you have a bus stop placed there or if a bus stop is already placed there. And so the path units end up figuring themselves out, those little alerts disappear and all is good. If you ever find yourself where those don't disappear, you may have changed something within your road layout that makes it so that the bus can no longer reach the station. And so you want to kind of watch out for that. You normally see that in areas where, like, if I were to change it to a one-way, well, then the bus would try to find another location. So say we moved this to a one-way, so the bus would be really confused until it found out that it had to turn around and then go this way and then turn back and continue on the same direction it was going. And so now let's go ahead and move over to our freeway entrance over here. So what I want to do is first delete this. I don't want to have our grade a little too close to the freeway, so we're going to bring this back and I'm going to use a 4-lane road. We're going to make sure that snapping is on, and we're going to go out about 1. And then what I want to do is have this on the smallest step, and I want to have it about 3 above. And if you can't make it across this with 3 above, it means your grades are a little off. So you want to maybe go to the 4th step. We have to do it for some of our crossings, so I'll show you guys in just a minute. And so now I'm going to show you guys a little trick that I use for these highway off-ramps to make them look good, but also keep them really usable. And so I turn off snapping, I grab my ramp, I go to the freeform tool, and one of the things that you really want to make sure is that your nodes are in the correct spot. The way you can adjust those is by adjusting where you end up placing the road. So like this one's a little close, so I'm going to show you guys. So if we bring this back and then jump back into that road, wherever we have this road end on the other side, and it looks like it's not really going to give us a lot of room, is wherever our node is going to be. So our node is going to be on that left line, and then our node is going to be where the pointer is. And so we're going to go like that just because it's not going to allow us to do anything else. It's because we're going at an angle. If you're going at it straight on, then you'll have a little more leeway. So you can come in here, go 3, and you'll see it allows you to go a little bit further. So wherever you land is wherever your node is going to be for you to build your next road. And so let's go back into our ramps, turn back off snapping, go into the freeform tool. And so we will start off right here, and we're going to go off a little bit. And I want to make sure that it stays parallel with that highway. And so now what we're going to do is go down 2. I want to be 1 above the ground. And then we are going to curve this in. And the reason we're doing that is because it's going to help us capture really even slope. And this is something that is pretty difficult to capture in this game. If you find that your curve's a little off, like maybe it's a little to the side, just go ahead and right click and retry it. So we'll go like this, go 2 down, 1 above the ground, and then have it go into the highway. And then we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on this side. We do have a little bit of a curve, so I want to make sure and follow that. Go 2 down, put it into the highway, and then we're going to do the same thing here. And now that we have that, what we can do is jump into the upgrade tool, hold that right mouse button, and change the direction of these. And then I do also want to jump into our junctions tab, which is this traffic routes icon in our little info panel. And the reason I want to do this is because I want to go into junctions and take away the lights for these. So I want to jump out of roads first, go back into junctions, turn this off. And what we can do, and what would be more realistic, is to actually put a stop sign. And so while we're in this is a fantastic tool that you can utilize within your city to make sure that there's not just unnecessary stops all over the place. And this is something that we can see on our arterial. We have a bunch of stop signs in areas that aren't really necessary. And so what we're going to do is go ahead and turn off those stop signs and tell people coming onto that road that they need to have a stop sign, because this is the priority road. And so we're going to go ahead and go all the way down. We can take this one off as well. We'll go like this. And so another thing you can do is go to adjust road and go ahead and grab your road and then set priority road. And then have this go, once this loops around, we can actually have it go all the way around. And this way it actually goes through and puts in stop signs as well. It's a really neat tool to use. So we're going to go ahead and grab this road and do the same thing, priority road. And so what that does is it just tells the game that this road has priority off of other roads going onto it, because this is an arterial within our city. That is something that we want to do. And so now that we have created that other connection, we're going to see a couple things. So all of our trucks over here, the majority of them are now going to start choosing to take this path. And so one of the things you really want to avoid with industrial areas is making them too large. And this is something that I did when I first started. This is something that a lot of new people do whenever you're building at your city. You end up making really large commercial areas, really large industrial areas, and really large residential areas, which really don't matter as much. The problem is you'll end up generating way too much traffic. So we're not going to make our industrial area any bigger than this. And the reason for that is just because the amount of trucks that are going to need to come in and out. So what we're going to do is actually extend this out and create another industrial area over here using the Industries DLC. And the reason we're doing that is because in pretty much every city now, my early game strategy is to plop down an Industries DLC industry as quickly as I can. And so this little area right here, if we jump back into our info panel, go down to the natural resources, we can see that this is all fertile land, so we can have farming. This is a little more realistic as well. And so one of the things I like to think about is why a city would be forming. So most cities, when they start off, are birthed from some sort of industry. So right now we do have heavy industry over here. We have like various, this is a fish stick factory. We have ReadyWare, so this is like a clothing factory. But we really want to branch off into agriculture, or if you have Sunset Harbor DLC, you can do fishing or oil, something like that, because it's really going to help expand the city in a much broader way, especially once you start diving into unique factories and stuff like that. And so now that we have that, what I want to do is go ahead and create a couple little crossings over here. So what we're going to do is turn back on snapping. We're going to come down here, go out 1, and then because I know it is on a little bit of a grade, we need to go up 4, and we're going to come across, and we are going to have this come down. And these are not going to be freeway connections. These are just going to be connections across the highway. And this is really going to help people to get across without having to deal with these service interchanges. And so we are now at a place where we need to either purchase a square or start expanding this way. In the last episode, I had identified that this was going to be our downtown. And so I think what I want to do is have a larger interchange funnel this way, and that way we can start expanding out. The problem is if we expand out and then do the road later, what we're going to need to do is delete a lot of stuff. So I'm going to show you guys a little trick on how to make some interchanges. And this is actually a pretty fun one and also an easy one. So what we're going to do is make a trumpet interchange. So we're going to go ahead and go 3 up. And once we're 3 up, we can turn off snapping. And what I want this to be is about straight in the middle, so you can kind of see we're a little off. So we are going to come up like right here. And then let's go ahead and turn back on snapping. And I want it to be literally right next to that. So now we're going to come all the way down here and we're going to have it go parallel with that. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and jump into our upgrade tool and go ahead and switch the direction of this road. Trumpets can be kind of tricky. I mean, doing curves in this game in general can be kind of tricky. So one of the things you want to do is you want to have your road parallel with the middle of your curve. So if we kind of visualize this, we want this to curve around. So we want this to be on the leftmost portion of the curve. And so now what we're going to do is jump into a 2-unit road and go to this 2-lane gravel road. And so we're going to grab this point and we want this to go out as far as we want the curve to go. So I think we're going to go about right there, and what we're going to do is we're going to go down 1. And then what we need to do is go into the middle, and we need to go up about as far as the circumference of the circle. We are not going to change the elevation on this one because it is the highest step. And then we will go over here, and what we're going to do with this one is actually bring it down to the ground. So we're going to go like right about there, and what you want to do is make sure that this is level. So you can kind of see this one right here is a little off. What we can hope for is that maybe it levels off with that highway. So let's go ahead and check this out. So we're going to go into here, jump into our ramps. We want to keep snapping on. So we want this to be curved perfectly. So we're going to come down here, and you know what? That actually worked out really well to just have this one a little bit longer. And so now we will go ahead and turn off snapping, and I want this to come down here and wrap along the highway. So we want this to go like right about there, and then we want it to go parallel with the highway. So we're going to go ahead and go like this. We want to check that out because you can already kind of see that that curve is a little off right there. So I think I'm going to go ahead and redraw that in. So if I grab this and go ahead and grab our freeform tool again, and we'll go like this, and then we should be able to go straight now. And this is just going to help us capture a little more realistic of a look. This is something that I really prioritize with my cities, is to have them look good. You know, I don't want to have any sort of weird curves or anything. And so that actually looks pretty good. And so now what we can do is go ahead and get rid of that little X in there. And it is going to kind of mess up your curve a little bit, but honestly, that still looks pretty good. It is a little tight. We could have maybe made it a little bit bigger. That probably would have been good. And so now what we want to do is grab that freeform tool, make sure snapping is off, and go ahead and follow this just a little bit. And we want it to be right next to it. But then we want to curve this way and then have it drop down to just one above the ground again. And then we want to have this dump into the highway. And so now we have the backside of a trumpet. And this actually looks really good. These are really hard to make in vanilla. A lot of times your curves just end up looking really weird. Like this one is kind of a little blown out on this side because we were a little too long on this side, but I think it looks good, and it actually provides a little more of a straightaway. So as they're going around, maybe they don't have to brake as hard. And so let's go ahead and upgrade this road now. And so if you're ever in a position where it doesn't want to upgrade the road, it's because of the pillars above the highway. So what you can do is jump into the bulldoze tool, go ahead and get rid of these, and then go back into your ramp and just go across. We want to make sure that we turn on snapping so we can have that angle. We'll go like that and go ahead and connect it up. And then let's go ahead and do the same thing on this side. So we will go like this and then go ahead and connect it up. And so now let's see if we can flip that around since we were on the wrong side. Of course we can't. So let's go ahead and try that again from the other side. So we're going to go ahead and turn off snapping for this because it's a little off on that one side. And so I want this to be level with that. And then if we go across, perfect. And so one of the things with these trumpets as well is you need to have a same side connection. So what we're going to do is jump into our freeform tool, and I'm going to bring these back like I just did. And then I'm going to jump over to the side. And one of the things with this is the terrain's a little off. And so if we go like that, it tends to look a little like, you see how it dips down a little bit. So what I want to do is bring that up just a smidge so that we can keep it level with the other road. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it up, and then we will bring this around. You want this to be kind of swooping. And then we're going to go ahead and drop it down 2 to bring it a little bit closer. Let's go straight just a smidge, and then we will dump it into the highway. So we'll go like that. And so now we're going to go ahead and copy that on this side. We will bring it out 1. Let's go ahead and go up. And then we will curve this around and then dump into the highway. And you know what? This actually looks really good. Let's go ahead and check out those slopes though, just to make sure that we're not all over the place with this. So this actually looks pretty good. Let's check down here as well. This, you know what, it actually looks pretty good. None of our slopes are off, none of the angles. It looks really nice. And this was, you know, we just threw this together pretty quickly. So this is an easy interchange for you to do without having to really just get crazy with it. And so what we do want to do now is have our couplet come around. So our downtown is going to be all high rises, a ton of residents, and we have a large possibility of generating a ton of traffic. And so what I want to do is have our couplet straddle this highway. So we're going to come down here, go ahead and turn on snapping, and we're going to go like this because I want to get in the middle of this. So we're going to go ahead and grab this, go like right there, and then I'm going to come down here and turn on snapping, and I want to go out one, and I want to make sure that it's level with that road. So we're going to go like that, and then we're going to come out one again, and we're going to go ahead and turn off road guidelines so that we can get that perfect line. And we are going to get rid of some of these runes, but I really want to keep some of them as maybe like a museum or something that we'll do later. I think that that'll end up looking really fun. And so let's go ahead and jump into our one ways now, and let's go up this way. We'll probably go about like right here. Maybe we'll make that curve a little more pronounced. So we'll go like that, and then we'll come up here, go like that, and then let's bring this forward just a smidge. We'll go like that, and then let's come and do the same thing here. And then now let's jump into that freeform tool, make sure all of our snapping guidelines are on. Bring this out until we get those three little dots. Come out here, bring this up, go like that, and then connect this up. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on this side, but we need to be careful of this highway. So you see how it's giving that red line? So what we need to do is go into the bulldoze tool and go ahead and bring this back. And then what that's going to allow us to do is connect this up. And then all we have to do is just go back through the highway and kind of refix it. So we do want to make sure that this is level. I'm going to go like this and then go back into our straight tool, connect that up. And then let's go ahead and reconnect our highway now. So we're going to go in here, snapping is on, we are good. So we can go all the way up to that road and then go across, just making sure that the pillars below it don't go on the road. That's why it's giving you those red signals, because the supports are landing on the road, and so it's creating a problem. That's kind of funny. It allowed us to build that, but look how close this is. Those trees are like just crazy. So I think what we'll do, because this is on a slope, we're kind of dealing with some weird grades here. I think we will go ahead and raise this up just once. We're going to go ahead and delete this all the way down. And this is just going to help us capture a little bit better of a look. I don't want the highway being that close. So we will go ahead and go straight. Let's go ahead and bring it up by 1. And let's see how this looks over the road. Yeah, you know, that looks a little bit better. It's still pretty close, but I don't think it's as bad. So because we are going downhill, I'm just going to do short segments at a time. One of the things you really got to want to watch out for with these is your slopes can get pretty weird in the game. So you want to do short segments so that it follows that ground a little bit better. Yeah, you know, that actually looks pretty good. It's nice and smooth. We do have a little bit of a bump right there. And then we have this as well. And so one of the things you can do here is just go ahead and delete those 2 segments and then come back in here and reconnect them up. It's just going to help you capture a little bit better of a slope in there. We still have a little bit of a bump there, but it's not the end of the world. And so now let's go ahead and flip this around, and then we need to go back through and make sure our couplet is facing the correct direction as well. We'll go like this. And so the idea is we'll probably have another little service interchange somehow wrapping into this. I don't think we're going to focus on it right now, but I want to start working on this residential, and I want to start working on this industrial. What I'm thinking is we are going to expand our residential out this way because our residential demand is pretty high at the moment. And then what I'm anticipating is as we grow, our industrial demand will begin to kind of balloon. And so we will probably unlock this square, and then we will end up building out our agricultural area. And so what we want to do is expand out our road grid in a way that's going to make sense. We're going to grab this, we're going to go ahead and go straight, and what we can do is actually turn this into a tunnel. So we'll grab this, let's go underground. And the reason we're doing this is because it's going to allow us to continue that grid, but also create some great access. So now as we expand on this side, these people are going to be able to cut across without having to kind of bypass the highway there. And so now let's jump into our 2-unit road, and let's figure out what we're going to do. We're going to continue using those dirt roads. And so I want to follow our same path, which was 5 units out. And it looks like we're a little off. So let's go ahead, get rid of this, draw this across, and then we can come back again. So we'll come out 3, 4, 5, and let's go ahead and turn off road guidelines so I can get that 5th one. And then we're going to come down here, and then we're going to have it curve into our couplet. And the reason we're doing that is because I want to follow this grid over here. So now if we come up over here, let's go ahead and go up 1.5, come all the way across, have this follow again. And of course we're hitting that highway. Fantastic. And so we'll go like this, go all the way down and connect this up. And so I do want to create a couple larger areas in here for future use, like transit centers or something like that. And that's something that as you're building out, you want to kind of leave some little patches in there for you to kind of expand on later. So that's one of the things that I pretty regularly will use within my games. And so I think what we're going to do is go ahead and create a little crossing right here, probably about right there. I think that that's good. And then we're going to change that into a transit center in the future once we unlock them. Because I don't think we have any bus stations at this point. We don't, and we don't have any of our hub tabs. We'll end up getting him. I'm not too worried about it. And so now let's come over here and we're going to have to change the orientation of our grid again. And the reason we're going to have to do that is because as we get into our downtown, our grid is going to want to go this way. And so I think this is actually going to work out pretty well. We have some areas for us to do some offices. We are going to unlock high density here soon. So I really want to get some offices in there. Offices are super realistic for cities and something you definitely need. So we'll go like that. Let's check out our slope again. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I really like it when you have grids that kind of go below a highway. I think it looks cool. And so now I'm going to go ahead and hook up water pipes for this real quick. Okay, so we have water pipes in. While we're in there, let's go ahead and check out our water availability. So we're at about half, but as we expand, we're definitely going to need some more. So I think what we're going to do is grab this, go ahead and bring this right over here by our highway. So we will place this right here and then go ahead and connect that up. It doesn't have power at this moment, but I'm not too worried about it. Let's check out our power as well. So our power is definitely getting low. And what I was thinking is for us to consolidate these areas, we're going to be kind of blowing some money here. So let's go ahead and unpause because we're going to be just wasting all this money moving these around. But I think it's just going to look better. I don't like having these kind of random buildings just placed everywhere. So now we need to unlock this, which is of course is 50,000. So we need to let the game run for a little bit. Go ahead and start zoning some of this out. And then we'll end up reaching that goal here soon. So I think for this area as well, I'm kind of looking at this road. I think this would work really well as another kind of collector road. So we'll have this connect up and it could even just funnel into this other one, but it's going to help people who are over here just kind of get back there, which I think is fantastic. So now we actually have some pretty good accessibility. This road goes all the way down there, connects up to this collector, these collectors over here. These roads connect up to our arterial. As this goes down, it's going to funnel into our downtown. I think this is actually really good. So we need to identify a couple areas for our schools. We need to identify areas for services. And so if we jump into our schooling tab, we can see that our elementary is really overused at this moment. This is our only elementary. So I think honestly, if we could, placing 2 of these would probably be the smart bet. Our capacity is only 300 and you can already see we're like 160 below, and that's even before our expansion. So if we identify 2 areas for elementaries, maybe if we come up here, place an elementary right there, and then come down here, place an elementary right here, I think that would be smart. So let's go ahead and at least place 1 because we still need to be mindful that we need a power plant. So placing it up here would be pretty good. It definitely would be better if it was a little more centralized. I don't want to have it in this commercial area though, so I think maybe just placing it off of this road would probably be smart because then it's at least a little bit closer for that other side. So then we will come in here, go to the small playground, go ahead and place it right next to it. And then that should be good enough for this area. Let's check it out for right now. Yeah, so we bumped it up to 600 in capacity, which is fantastic. And it leaves a little bit of room for us to expand, which is good. So let's go ahead and start zoning out some of these. I think for most of these, we want to be mindful of our paths because that's really how you can kind of regulate on traffic in your cities in a big way. Another big thing that I like to do is go ahead and just remove zoning off of the collector here so that there's no homes on the street. So like you can kind of see this one right here, all these homes right off the street, just kind of looks weird. So I like dezoning those a lot of times. Sometimes like if we're a little farther back, like right here, I don't tend to bother with it because you're almost in a neighborhood. But in a setting like this, I think it would be a little more fitting to leave that dezoned. I don't know, in my opinion, I wouldn't want to have a house right off of this road, like your driveway. Just kind of an issue, like having to pull in. A lot of times you would have big setbacks, but we can't really do setbacks in this game. It's just not something that you can do. So now let's come in here and extend out our path. And you know what? This is already looking pretty good. This leaves a room for like another little park area in there, which would be nice. And let's go ahead and jump on this side now. So we don't want to do any residential near this highway. If we go into our info tab, we can go in here to noise pollution. As people start driving down this, it's going to become like this. So any people who live near this noise pollution will become sick. As more DLC is introduced later on, this becomes a little more pronounced. So what we're going to do is go ahead and jump over to this side. So remember, we're going to turn this into a collector. So we're going to go ahead and leave zoning off of that one road. And then let's go ahead and go like this. And I do want to do the same little path thing in here. So we are going to remove strip of 2 right in the middle. And then let's go ahead and bring this in the middle as well. And then I think we are going to do just a small stretch of commercial off of that one side. I think it's really going to help us to just have that like neighborhood market vibe in there. That was something that people had mentioned in the last episode as well, and it is something that I do utilize in my cities. So like right now, all of our commercial is in the middle. Well, what you can do, and this is, you know, way more realistic as well, is just come in here, de-zone like little corners like this. So we're just going to come in here and just do like that. And then we'll come up over here as well. Let's go ahead and just zone in this little smidge right there. We have this one up here, so we'll probably do like just a little 4x4 slot. And what this is like your little neighborhood markets for people to just walk to without having to actually go into the whole mall area. And so this actually looks pretty good already. You know what, this area looks pretty good too. So we'll go ahead and just fill in this whole square. And so now that's right off a bus line as well. So now we have that area, this area, that area. Let's go ahead and add in one more over there. And then as we expand out this area, we'll probably do even one more over here somewhere. And so now we've just created, you know, just little convenience stores. Maybe you're grabbing some milk, or you need some sugar or something for dinner, maybe some vegetables. You're not required to go down to the big city mall. You're just going to go down to the neighborhood store, which is fantastic. And so that is something that we want to do over here. So we are going to probably zone out this whole little middle stretch. Let's actually upgrade this road first before we have to just demolish stuff, which would just be terrible. And then that way, as we expand, this will remain an arterial. And then same with this, it does look like we need to go back through and adjust our zoning on that. I would really like this to terminate into the couplet. So I wonder if we can delete that, have this go straight. Ooh, you know, that actually looks kind of cool. It turning right there. Maybe we'll keep that like that. And then what we can do is just have this cut across just to provide that accessibility for people down here. They can kind of come up here, get to the collector, because this is one way, so they'd be kind of trapped. I think we'll end up probably doing tunnels here as well, maybe even funneling them both into one road as we get up here. But I think this is already looking pretty good. I do want to come back into our zoning and fix this road. So we want to remove one row of zoning just off of this. We don't want homes right on that road. And then we do want to come in here and remove 2 for our paths. We got a path right there, path right there. Let's go ahead and do some homes right here. And then let's do some homes right here as well. I want to remove 4 units of zoning right there. Let's come up over here, do homes, and then let's do a path. So if we do a path like right here, and then let's do a path like right there. So we have the path come up and turn, and then we will go ahead and remove this as well. Let's remove that too. And then let's come back in here, turn that into a home, turn that into a home. And actually, you know what we can do is have a path go behind our commercial. I think that would look good. So let's remove this, remove that, remove this, remove that, and then let's square off this zoning just to make it look a little bit better. So if we come in here, remove that, what it's going to do is provide a little more space for us to do some walking paths behind the commercial, which I think is really nice. And it's something that I've utilized in my cities quite a bit, actually. We can go ahead and zone that in. Man, we're really just chugging along here. Let's go ahead and unpause. So we need to do our other school now. We actually have 80,000, so let's do that power plant first. So I want to use this oil power plant, and we're going to go ahead and put it across the street. And so what I'm going for here is just a cleaner look. And so since we did unlock Industries DLC, we do have access to fences now. So what I'd like to do is go into this little landscaping tool, and we will go to walls and fences. And I'm going to go over to this OR fence. I'm going to go ahead and turn off snapping. I just want to have this fence go around. I just feel like it's going to make it look a little more secure, safe, like it's a whole compound. It's probably just one company who owns all this, so they would probably want to keep people out. So one of the cool things with the industrial roads is they kind of look like little small parking lots in a way. So what you can do in the vanilla game is actually just stretch them across and then connect this up. It doesn't look great, but it looks like a small parking lot just because it's on that hill a little bit. It actually doesn't look bad. So let's go back into that fence now, and we're going to have this go all the way around this little compound. And so now there's a little energy compound over there, which looks fantastic. And so let's jump back over here and see what we're looking at. So we know we want to turn this into a park area. We know that we need a school. We need a high school over here as well. I want to get a library. I think we're going to do some more libraries over here too. So maybe right here, right off the park. So if we go ahead and place this right here, can we fit that small park next to it? So let's move this. We're going to go like that because I want to get the playground next to it. So if we go like that, how does that look? You know, that actually looks pretty good. We are going to have power issues. Let's go ahead and drag power over here right now before we forget. So we have our elementary school. Let's check out our high school. So our high school's not bad. We're definitely at capacity. We could just go into the budgets tab though and bump that up. But I don't think we're going to worry about that at the moment. We do need to get some services though. So I want to get these services just off our collector, not necessarily on the collector, because you really wouldn't want people to have to turn into that. And so what we're going to do is place that right there, and let's go ahead and do our fire department across the street, and then we will do the police department like right here. You know, that looks good. And then this actually leans into our whole little park area that we can do. And so I think for our park area, what we'll do is you can kind of meld a bunch of these parks together, and it really helps you to capture just a fun look. So if we go like right there, and then let's just drop in a couple of these small playgrounds. So we'll go like that. Right in the middle of building our park, we hit Big Town. And so we have unlocked another square. We've gotten taxation policies. We've gotten some more unique buildings. More importantly, we unlocked Metro, which is fantastic. I don't really know if we're going to mess with any policies in this episode, but we will here soon. This Industries 4.0 one is pretty good. It increases production output by 50%, reduces workplaces by 30%. This, you can kind of help if you overzone industrial. A lot of times if you place this policy, it can really help. But more importantly, we got high density, which is fantastic. And so when we got a ton of new buildings too. So we got the incineration plant, we got the university, we got the post sorting facility. I forgot that I think that came with the Industries DLC, the post office. Let's go ahead and finish this, and then we will move on to some of our newer buildings. So we got the small park there, we got a big park here. Let's go ahead and do a dog park across the street from our small park right there. And then I would really like to get something bigger in here. Oh, you know what? I think that actually looks good. So we got three parks in there. And then what we can do is do some light commercial zoning, just to do some more of those little neighborhood markets, and also to kind of split up the park a little bit, make it look more interesting. So if we go like that and just kind of let it grow in, what we can do is do paths in here and then some trees and just make it look really fun. Do want to do just some small commercial in here. We're only going to do that little bit because I want to do that path off the backside. And so now we do need to do paths in here. We haven't really messed with paths at all. So let's come in here, and I want this path to go straight. We're going to come back through and decorate this. So we'll go like this and then go all the way down, go like that. Fantastic. And so now let's come in here and do our paths all the way across. And I'm going to go ahead and get the paths in for this whole area. Okay, our paths are in. And so now what I want to do is create some office parks in here since we have unlocked our office zoning. And so I want to come in here and do some spaces for them rather than just zoning them in. So we're going to go ahead and go all the way across. We're going to come up here and do the same thing. And the reason we're doing this is because I really want to capture a cool vibe in here. And so if you're ever having an issue with your zoning like this, what you can do is go ahead and just delete a couple of the roads and then draw them back in. And what it will do is favor the road that was already there. Let's go ahead and do another one on this side. We'll go like this, and then let's do that same thing. We'll delete this road and then drop back in. So we'll go like this all the way down. We do not want that to connect to the freeway. What I'm thinking is we will do some office zoning. So we'll grab this, go down to our little marquee tool, and I want to leave some space for us to do plaza and also some landscaping on the sides with some paths, just really turn it into a nice place. So we'll go ahead and go like this, and then we'll do the same thing over here. Grab this, go across, go like that. And then what we'll do is jump into this Parks and Plazas tab, and we're just going to use this standard plaza with trees. I really like the look of it. I don't tend to use the same plazas and areas repeated like this, but maybe it's all like one developer that purchased it all, and I think it's going to really help us to capture a cool look in here. I want to now go into paths, turn off snapping, and I want to make some connections in here so that we can keep that walkability. We really want to make it so that people choose to walk as much as possible. That really is the trick to helping you manage your traffic. That's probably the biggest trick. All right, and so I think this looks really good. Now what I want to do is just place down some trees. We're going to come in here and go and do some young lindens along this front. You know what? We could actually do some of these boreal ones. So if we go all the way down, and then what I'm going to do is go ahead and just place these in all of these little entrances real quick. And you know what? I think that actually does look pretty good. And so I do want to do the young lindens on the side. So we're just going to go ahead and place these young lindens all the way around. And what I'm going to do is probably just fill in the rest of this area. I want to do some foliage. I want to put in a couple trees, just really make it into a nice area. All right, and so here is our office park. And you know what? I actually really like the look of this. I used some of these purple kind of bushes in here to just accentuate a lot of the paths and then the roads. And then I did the young lindens around the outside. And then I used some of these like horse chestnuts, I believe. So if we come in here, yeah, these horse chestnuts. Just, put some trees around, really tie it all in together. And this just goes to show how easy it is to just make a place look so much better. I really didn't get crazy with this, just kind of did some bushes along the paths, and you can already tell it looks a lot better, especially with little plazas and stuff. And so now what I want to do is go ahead and jump over here. And so I'd really like to get a public library in here somewhere. I think it would just be a really good thing for us to have. So what I'm thinking is we will go ahead and move this. And then what we can do, I hate to do it, let's remove this. And then what we'll do is go into a path, and we're going to make the path go right there since it's right at or we're going to go into a road. We'll make the road go right there next to the path, and let's go ahead and turn this, and then let's jump into our library. Oh man, look at that. We're just like so slightly off. So maybe if we delete that, we can go, yeah, we can. And there we go. And so now we have created our little library, and I'm just going to go ahead and throw some trees around it real quick, just tie it in, nothing too crazy, just some young lindens, and then some trees around the outside. Okay, and I feel like that's good. I decided not to do the bushes around the outside just because this would be like a public facility, and I still think it looks really good. I like it. It's kind of funny. I didn't decorate this. I was waiting for the buildings to grow and to just kind of see what we got. So we got like a little gas station, kind of some smaller commercial buildings over here. We got our police station, which I think is good. So we could do just a small bit of commercial right there as well. And then let's go ahead and look on the backside and see what we got. So we got like a little drugstore, convenience store, which I think that looks pretty good. I think this one looks pretty good too. I think this is like a little, so organic foods, nice. And so I think this is actually good for us to decorate now. So what I'm going to do is probably just go in here, place down some of these. I don't want to get too crazy with it, but then I do want to go into our flower bushes and hit those paths up a little bit. And we'll probably do some small bushes as well. So now I'm going to switch over to that chestnut, come in here and just go all the way around. We really want to try to hide some of those, the ruinings of the road and the paths and the buildings and stuff, because those really are, just make your place look a little less realistic. So let's go ahead and get rid of this bush. And then what I'm going to do is go into this wild hedge. And I'm literally just going to follow our paths all the way down. And we don't want to do this everywhere because it's just going to make it so that people can't walk into the grassy areas. So what I'm going to do is probably just do the offshoots from the road so that people are just kind of walking into the park and, enjoying the scenery and everything. All right, and that already looks pretty good. And so now if you jump into the Parks and Plazas tab, you can go to this props tab, and here's a bench that you can just come in here. And it actually does allow you to place it within the park too, which is fantastic. So what we're going to do now is just go ahead and place these all the way around. This really just helps your parks to look a little more realistic. All right, and so I put in some benches, and you can kind of see them down there. It definitely cleans it up. I really like this a lot. It does look like we're starting to have some trash issues over here. So now if we jump into our new garbage and industry tab, so it looks like they're both full. We should have probably checked this sooner. So let's go ahead and have this road come back, and I want it to go back here. The goal is to have it come up over here. And you know what? We're going to end up building that industrial area. So let's go ahead and purchase this square. So if you come down here to areas, it pulls up this whole tab. And if you grab onto them, it actually will show you which natural resources are in there. And especially with the industries tab, this is super helpful. Within the base game, I think I said in the first episode, you are limited to 9 tiles, which is incredibly unrealistic. But in mods, you are able to unlock them all, which is nice. But you can still get a pretty good city within the 9 tiles. So I don't want you to feel discouraged. But if we come over here, we can kind of see the price. So I want to choose this one, and it only has road access and plane access. It does not have ship access or rail access. We know that our rail access point is actually over here, so you can kind of see it unlocks if you grab that one. We're not focused on that right now, though. We're going to grab this, and we're going to go ahead and purchase it. We do have more squares available to us, but I don't want to just get crazy with purchasing squares. I do want to create another little trash compound in here. So we're going to go ahead and place 2 of those, and then let's extend this out and then have this go down. And then we don't have the recycling facilities right now, but we do have the incineration plant, which does help with managing garbage. And so let's go ahead and go like right here, and then let's do one across the street. So this is like our whole little garbage compound now. And so let's make sure that they have water. Nice. And so it kind of looks like our whole city was starting to have garbage issues. So what we can do now, since these are full, a lot of times I'll just leave these full because I think it's not the most realistic for landfills to go through like an emptying process. But we'll go ahead and dump it out and let these basically maneuver them to the other sides. What we want to do is get them to about 50%. We don't want them to just dump them into the other landfills, because then those other 2 are just going to kind of fill up. And so I really like this area. I like that we got this going. Let's see if we have any other buildings that we haven't placed yet. So we have Metro. I really don't think our city is big enough for Metro just yet. So we have power. We are going to play around with industries in just a minute. We could do another childcare and elder care. So this is way over here. We could do a childcare, elder care right here. Let's go ahead and check out that area of effect. You know what? I think this is going to be a good location. So if we grab this, let's build a road off. So if we go like right here, build this off and then go sideways. Yeah, you know what? I think this is going to be a pretty decent little compound. I don't know if it's going to be big enough. Yeah, it should be big enough for both. Nice. And so let's see if we can get a small park in there too. I really like getting these playgrounds around these. Yeah, it's just too small. So let's actually, we're going to move this over, and then let's slide this one over just a bit too, just one, so we can get some trees around it. And so I'm just going to go ahead and throw in some trees real quick, just tie this all in together real fast. Okay, and I think this looks good. Another thing that we can do is do a fence around. We don't have any of the park life fences, but I think even like doing one of these would be good. So like if we come back here, just do a fence along the backside, because then it just allows these people to kind of enjoy the grounds without being hounded by anybody or having to worry about them wandering off or something. You know what? I think that looks really good. I like that it's got this patio back here too. And so now they can kind of roam around here, maybe sit down, maybe there's some benches and stuff, and really enjoy the grounds. And so now we have given this whole area another boost in land value. So let's go ahead and check out our land value. So our land value is definitely going up. It is tied to your education levels. So if we go in here and check out our education, so we're in dire need of a high school. As all these people become more educated, the area becomes higher in land value. And so let's go ahead and place down a high school somewhere. So I'm thinking back here, this could actually be a good spot. So what we're going to do is grab a road, and we're going to make this a bigger one too, because I want to get some sports in here in the future as we start to unlock them. So we're going to go ahead and go like that, and then we're going to connect this up. So we'll go like this, and we'll go like this. And then let's go ahead and jump into our tab, go to high school. Let's go ahead and do the high school right in the front. I am planning on unlocking the European theme, which will give us the tennis courts. But for right now, all we have is the basketball courts. And so I think what we're going to do is go ahead and put in just a big park over here. So if we go like right there, let's see how that looks. I mean, I definitely wish there was more sports than just one basketball. Maybe we'll do another basketball. So if we go in here and just put in a second basketball, I think it's just going to make it look a little bit better. Yeah, you know what? It does. It definitely does. And so it gives a boost to that area too. And so I'm going to go ahead and place down some trees for this area real quick. All right, and here is our new school. And you can already see a lot of these buildings are upgrading. So if you go into the buildings, I showed you guys on the last one here, but it says educate more citizens to allow the building to be upgraded. So as you satisfy these demands, you'll hear these little dings and you'll see these little arrows. That means that the building is being upgraded. And so it actually becomes the next level for that building. And it helps to increase land value. It helps to get more people in the homes. And if you're ever interested in what you can do for your city to really help it grow, this is a really great place to start. I think this area looks really good. I was kind of hoping we were going to get to 10,000 population, but it looks like we may be cut short because I really want to start focusing on this industrial area. So I think what we're going to do is jump into a 4-unit road, and we're going to go ahead and go straight. And so one of the things you want to be mindful of with industrial areas is the area in which the resource is. So this whole area and this whole area, it's this kind of lightly colored area. What I'm thinking is we are going to create some agricultural homesteads. If we go down here to this districts and areas tab, you will have unlocked with the purchase of the industries DLC, this paint industry area. So we will then come in here and go ahead and paint it all. And you want to get some area away from the resources as well for like production facilities or warehouses, stuff like that, maybe even factories. What we're going to do is go ahead and use dirt roads. And I want to kind of loop this around just to create a little more of a natural kind of flow here. So we're going to go ahead and follow that tree line. We're going to go all the way around. And then what we're going to do is have this loop around. Nice. And so now we have created our agricultural area. And one of the things you really want to be careful of, so we only have 3 connections in here. You really want to get some other connections or get something going to allow more trucks. Let's actually extend this out just a little bit further because I don't want to have a 4-way stop for that. So let's go from like right here and then we'll just go back. We kind of ruined that tree line a little bit, but I feel like this is going to be smarter. With industry areas, it's a huge risk for traffic, and so you really got to be careful. I think that looks good. I think it definitely looked a little bit better with this connected, but having the 3-way interchanges is going to kind of help us out. All right, so now what we're going to do is go ahead and place down our main building, and I don't want the main building to be on top of the resource so much. Like right there was a little bit, but I'm not too worried about it. I want to have these facing the other direction. So let's go ahead and check this out. We're about like 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, like 7 or 8 units out. So if I delete this road and then bring it back to about like right here, we should be good. Let's go ahead and check that out. Yeah, you know, that's pretty good. It leaves a little bit of buffer room on that backside too, which is good. So we'll go ahead and place these all the way down. Oh, that looks good. And one of the things I like doing with these fruit trees is actually switching them between greenhouse and pastures. I think it just looks better. Like maybe these are processing buildings for these areas or something. And so now let's go ahead and grab a road. Let's have this go straight. And what we're going to do is create our little home right in the middle of all the fields and stuff. So we'll come in here, go to low density. Let's do a little 4x slot so we can get a home in there. And then now what we're going to do is go ahead and fill this up with agriculture. So we're going to come down here, fill this up, and then let's do the same thing on this side. And then let's go ahead and do some more coming across this way. So we'll go like this. And let's see if we can fit some more off this backside. We can't. But what we can do is start looking at some of our other buildings. So I really like kind of moving around the workers barracks and then also the farm maintenance building. And so once this upgrades, we'll really be able to start getting some fun buildings in here and stuff. So we do need to get some water. I'm going to go ahead and throw this in real quick. The main reason that I do agriculture so early on is because of money. Once you get this going, you really start generating a lot of money for your city, and it makes it so that you just don't have to worry about things like road types or city services, especially later on, like your medical city service ends up being like pretty expensive. And so they're definitely things that you want to pay attention to. We will wait for this to upgrade. Once you have an industry area, if you click on any of the buildings within the industry area, it'll pull up the information for that building, but you'll also have this little tab down here, industry area info. And so if you come in here, it's going to tell you your overall production for the area, whether you are importing goods, which is the resource, or whether you have enough of the resource extraction buildings to supply your own goods. So then as we get like the animal pastures and the flour mills, we'll start to generate a little more money down here. I do like to jump into policies and turn on improved logistics. So this increases the storage capacity of extractors and processing buildings by 20%. And it also increases the upkeep of the industrial buildings by 10%. I think it's worth it though. So then advanced automation as well, increase production output by 10%, increase building upkeep by 10%. Again, I still think it's worth it, especially if you don't have a really large area. It really helps you to just kind of generate some more money. And so we do need to get some animal pastures in here. So if we go in here, and you want to make sure not to put your animal pastures above the resource because they don't need it. So we're actually going to bring this back a little bit, and I want to have them across the street. So if we go ahead and place just a row of these, I don't really like the overall look of these that much. I don't find them to be incredibly realistic. Let's go ahead and check that out. So we got a little bit closer to the road right there for some weird reason. So if we go ahead and delete that and try that again. Okay, so I ended up finishing off our animal pastures, and because my recording lost a little bit of its audio, I had to kind of backpedal a little bit. So I put these flour mills over here, and then I put in these fields back here, kind of mixing in some barns and some of these workers' barracks to just make it look a little more realistic. And then I did a cattle shed back here just because I wasn't really sure what to fill the space in, but I think it looks really good. And this is one of the ways that you can capture a more realistic look for your area. And it's kind of funny, I had built out this whole area, and so we actually already upgraded to level 4, but I wanted to rebuild it so that everybody could kind of see. So what we're going to do is jump into roads, and we are going to pump down that speed just a little bit because we don't need it to be that high. Let's go ahead and do a road across like right about here. And what I'm thinking is we are going to go back into our agricultural tab, and we are going to do some fruit fields in here. We don't want to do those big ones. What I'm thinking is some of these smaller ones. I think these are going to work out really well. So we'll go like this, go all the way across. And then what we're going to do now is use these medium fruit fields. And I want to go one, and then we're going to do one about in the middle, and we're going to come all the way down to the end. And I think this is going to help us capture a really cool look in here. So if we go ahead and turn these to pairs, let's turn these to pairs, and then we're going to turn this one to a greenhouse because I really want to go for that kind of mixed look in here. And then now what we're going to do is jump back into our road, go ahead and turn back on snapping, come out here, go along the back side of this, and then we are going to go straight. So we're going to go like right about there, and I want to have another crossing. So we're probably going to go like right here, and then we'll curve it in to that road just like that. And so what I'm thinking is we can utilize some of our other buildings in here. So maybe like the flour mill we could put right there just to make it look like a more industrious area. And I do want to do another homestead in here. So I think what we're going to do, we'll go ahead and do a road off like right here, and we'll go ahead and go either side. And then let's delete this back road again so we can get that full zoning off of this like we did on the other side. And then we will go ahead and zone this in, and then let's bring our road back. All right, so now what we're going to do is jump in here, and let's go ahead and do some more fields across the street. So we will have this go there, and let's see if we can fit 4. It looks like 3. Let's go ahead and use the workers' barracks to fill in this space. Let's do a barn in here too. So we'll do a barn like right there, and then I believe we got the maintenance building as well. Yeah, we did. So farm maintenance building. Let's go ahead and place this right there, and then it might be smart for us to connect this up going the opposite way too. So if we go ahead and turn on snapping and bring this way, we got to really be careful because we're getting a little too many turns in here. This is definitely conducive to us getting some pretty big traffic issues, so we got to be careful. So I want to come up here, go ahead and connect this up now, and what I'm thinking is we're going to get some more fields in here, but I want to do some of these bigger ones again. I really like the look of these. So if we go ahead and place 2 of those right there, what we can do is go ahead and bring a road off the backside. And let's turn off snapping so we don't get that weird kind of angle out of there. Let's go ahead and connect that up as well. And then let's do a couple little more fields back here. So we'll do this one, do this one, do this one, do that, and then turn the corner. And it looks like, man, I really wish we could fit one more in there, but looks like it's a little too tight. So let's go ahead and change these all to the same ones. Now maybe we'll do wheat again back here. I don't really want to mix it up too crazy and start doing like cotton and other things like that. I think doing 2 types of crops and then maybe some fruits could be realistic, because we already got some empty space in here that I want to come back and fill in. So we got to really be careful if we want it to look good. So we're going to go ahead and fill in this backside as well as best we can. It actually looks like it's going to be a little too tight, so I don't know if that's going to look the best. So I think what we'll do is go ahead and put in a couple of these little cattle sheds, just because this is going to help us capture that, industrious look, like little sheds back here. I think that looks good. And so let's see what else we can fit in here. Let's see if maybe we can fit a couple more of these fruit fields. Let's go like that. And then let's drop down to the smaller ones. And so now we have, man, it's looking really cool. I like these areas a lot. And so I do want to do some fences around this. Let's jump into our fences. And we're going to go to our agricultural fence, and we're going to go ahead and draw this up, and we're going to go all the way around this house. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing on this side. So we're going to come up over here. Let's go ahead and do a fence all the way to the road. We'll go like this and then come back. So I actually really like that. I think that looks awesome. I think this whole area looks awesome. Okay, and so I think this looks pretty good. Before we move on, I did want to drop in just a small factory to give you guys an idea of what we're going to be doing. So what I'm thinking is we're going to turn this into a warehouse/factory district. And so what I want to do is go through and delete some of these paths, as some of these are going to be pretty large compounds. So the first thing I want to do is do our bakery. So we're going to place a bakery, then we're going to go ahead and jump into our warehouses. And we're going to place 2 of these down. So we're going to come in here. So we need animal products, crops, and flour. And so it looks like we need to do a barn or a grain silo as well. I don't really know if we need as much storage as a grain silo is going to afford. So I think what we're going to do is go ahead and place it back right here. The reason I didn't put it right there is because any trucks that are turning onto this road are going to try to enter this silo, and it's going to block this intersection. So by putting it back here, we actually help out our traffic a little bit. And so now we'll jump in here, go ahead and turn this to animal products, and we're going to turn this one to flour. And so one of the things to keep in mind with these warehouses is there's two different selections. So you have storage mode. It gives you a nice little breakdown of it right here, but my understanding is that, balanced is most likely going to be your best option in most settings. Fill is if you want them to actually import the good. So you can run import businesses for like oil or ore just by plopping down their respective storage units, and then you'll just begin to spend a ton of money to import that resource into your city, which actually is a big benefit a lot of the times, but it's always better if you can make it yourself. And so I do also normally bump this up to 150. It just makes a little bit more money for you. And then you also do need to place another warehouse, which we're just going to do a small one across the street. Actually, we'll do a bigger one since this is going to be our warehouse district. And we will turn this into our unique factory products. And those are the products that are produced by these warehouses. And so you always want to have one of these warehouses nearby. Before we jump into the detailing time lapse, I want to place down a couple more warehouses in here. So we're going to go ahead and place these. Let's go ahead and place them on the road. And then because we didn't use this curve, let's go ahead and get rid of this. That still looks pretty good. I think that this curve is kind of interesting. We could probably straighten it out a little bit. So if we just curve it the other way, we'll grab the freeform tool, go like this, and just curve it that way. Just make it look a little bit better. So if we go like that, yeah, you know what? It doesn't look bad. There's a little bit of a bump there, but we do need to turn these into animal products and flour to service our area, since that's what we are generating here. So we're going to go animal products and flour, and this area should start making a pretty decent amount of money here soon. So if we jump into the industry area tab, we can really see, so we're already leveled up to level 5, which means we've unlocked all of our buildings. We are a little short on workers, so the goal is 1992 with how many buildings we have, and we only have about 1,115, and we are turning a profit of about 5,000 a week, and so this is actually pretty good, especially for a starting out city. And then now with that bakery, we're really going to start generating some good money. Another thing I normally do with this, I go ahead and turn it to empty. You can turn this into commercial zone goods, so like if you start to have goods issues within your city, go ahead and keep it on balance, but I normally will just keep it like that. You can already kind of see we're generating a little bit of traffic. It's because we placed down a bunch of these new storage areas already, and so these just put out a ton of calls right when they're placed. And it actually does look like we possibly need to place a couple more. So if we jump in here, let's just do a couple smaller barns. Maybe we'll do one right there. And then let's go ahead and place one back here as well. Just because you don't want them all right next to each other, having them all spread out is just better for your city. Once this plays out a little bit, this traffic will subside a little bit, but we do need to definitely make another connection at some point. We'll probably connect it up over here as well. Like you can kind of see what's happening over here. What are these people doing? They're like stopping. Okay, so let's check this out. Is there like a what's happening here? Why are these people stopping? Why is there a stop sign on these ramps? That just doesn't seem like a good thing to do. Especially with this, we'll probably have to upgrade this at some point because this is like not great. You want to normally have two lanes like this feed into a dual lane, and then you can drop it down to a single. So we'll probably play around with that. And so I'm going to go ahead and jump into a detailing time lapse, and I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, and so I am finally done. And so the first thing you're going to notice is that I extended out this road layout. I think we're going to end up using this as more of an industrial expansion, especially as we expand out more. For right now, we're just going to go ahead and leave it empty. And so I ended up doing some trees, some really low foliage in there. I didn't want to go too dense with the trees in a lot of places. But then I did these tall barrels with little purple bushes in the front, just to kind of clean it up like maybe an entrance onto the land. And I really like the look of this. I think it looks fantastic. I like that we didn't just do trees all the way around. It's like little clusters. It really helps to capture a more realistic look in here rather than just getting crazy with the trees, which I sometimes do. But overall, I think this looks really good. And so on this side, I did something similar to what we did before. I accentuated the paths with some bushes and then did some pine trees. I really wanted to just make it into a nice little walking area for the residents here. One thing that you'll notice I do, and I do in all my cities, is leave spaces. So don't be afraid to leave open, undeveloped land in your city. This is very realistic. This happens in cities, especially newer cities as they're growing. Because what happens is developers will purchase off little plots and then there'll be plots that have gone unsold, or maybe the city doesn't know what it wants to do with it. And so what we're going to be doing is saving some of these for future uses. So like I know we're using this for a transit center. We could possibly use this for another park if we wanted to. Same with these areas over here. It really just leaves a lot open for you instead of kind of bottlenecking yourself, like constantly zoning out new stuff and just having this all filled in. And so the key takeaway of this episode is to make sure not to overdo your industrial. And you see how we separated these? Well, I separated these because now we have traffic on both sides. So even by putting in this factory over here, what we're doing is we're splitting the traffic up so that they're not all taking the same road at the same time. And so that's another big thing for this. So whenever you're doing industrial areas, just make sure you don't put all your little barns or your grain silos right next to each other. If you spread them out throughout the whole area, it just delays your traffic enough to where they're not all going down the road at the same time. And that's really the key here. The biggest problem that I see, and the biggest problem I've had when I first started, was I would make out just huge industrial areas, and then I'd be like, man, what's happening with my traffic? And it's because everybody's trying to take the same road at the same time in the same direction. And it's just a nightmare. So just that little tip, if you can just separate all your little areas, separate anything that generates traffic, it will do your city wonders. And so I think this is fantastic. On the next episode, we are going to be exploring some common issues that we have in terms of not enough goods, not enough workers, and how to resolve them in your city, as well as expanding out this area, doing some more residential. If you guys would like to see anything in this series, go ahead and let me know. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, you will definitely enjoy the episode on your screen, and I will catch you guys on the next one.